What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Till the End of the Line podcast. I'm your boy Juan G here with, as always,
KKT.
that's right. And today's gonna be a good episode. We are talking about X-Men.
Mutants.
Oh yeah, one of his favorite topics. So we're gonna be discussing all the X-Men movies that have come out over the years. We're gonna do our rankings as we like to do. So do you want to get into it or?
So before we get into
Yeah.
the rankings, I want to talk about a little bit of history where X-Men started.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where mutants started.
Mm-hmm.
Who the first one was, and a little bit of a timeline there that way. Also, things to bring to your attention. So I was doing my research, or not research, but I was creating my top 13
Mhm.
X-Men related movies made.
Mm-hmm.
I saw on Disney Plus it says Spideyverse and Marvel Legacy movies. So I assume the Legacy movies are anything not made by Marvel. So it includes
Right.
Fantastic Four.
Okay.
But that's the first time I've ever seen that it said Spider Verse.
Mm.
I never noticed that. Um, yeah, I think that just ties into them using the timeline, the multiverse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today could be canon. It could come in. It could come into play. It can be brought into that storyline. Can be meshed into the current storyline of what's going on.
Yeah, I think it will, especially since Deadpool 3 is literally bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah.
So, and
the TVA is heavily incorporated into this movie too.
yeah, so Hugh Jackman has gone on record as saying that the way that they're going to do it is that it's going to involve time travel,
Yes.
which is how Deadpool 2 ended.
Correct.
So, that's the way that I think, like you said, it could be canon because they're going to tie in the old X-Men movies and that timeline with the current MCU.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to
Me
what they're gonna do.
Two. So, all right, X-Men, mutants. So BC was 300, 360, 300, 3,600 BC
Okay.
was the first ever known mutant,
Mm-hmm.
which is Ensaba Nur, which
Okay.
is Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He was the first one. He was a telepath. He has telekinesis, and he was able to move things with his mind. He supposedly built pyramids of over in ancient Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Also during that timeline is when Pharaoh Ramatut ruled, which
Okay.
is a variant of King.
Yeah.
Kind of cool tie in there.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, once his powers came, he was betrayed by his own worshippers and then entombed alive.
Oh.
But his four horsemen preserved him, so that's the only reason why he survived all these years. He's been like in a cryo state.
Yeah.
Um, 10,000 BC or 1,000 BC, the Deburi planet, it was destroyed by the Dark Force or the Phoenix Force.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another. They tie the Phoenix Force in with a lot of mutants.
Okay.
Not doesn't mean it's not a mutant gene, but for some reason is attracted to a lot of mutants. So
Okay.
Namor's had the Phoenix Force, Cyclops has had the Phoenix Force, and then most famously Jean Grey
Yeah.
had the Phoenix Force. So it's a cosmic power that's kind of flown around and it seems to have looked for peak level mutants.
So is it similar to like how the Green Lantern finds its next host, kind of? Is it that like type of thing where the ring
but it's
chooses
a
the
core.
person?
The ring does, but it's not an entity. As much
No,
as
no, no. I know. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but I'm like, is it that style of like that the Phoenix Force chooses the person, right?
mm,
No.
I treat it more like a symbiote.
Okay.
I think that's
Fair enough.
that's more like a relative term to use.
Okay.
It's more like a symbiote.
All right.
Like a cosmic symbiote.
Right.
Well, I guess technically a symbiote is a cosmic item because it's from the
Yeah, but
space
it's
thing.
more of a tangible thing than the Phoenix Force
Yeah.
is. So okay.
That's
Nice.
what I would say that. And then fast forward a long time. 1832, James Howlett is born.
Okay.
James Howlett, which is James' father, is killed by Thomas Logan. And then James Howlett's mutation starts to manifest, and then that's who we know as Logan.
Yeah.
And he takes the last name Logan from his stepfather, not from his real father.
Right. Which they explain that in X-Men Origins,
Origins,
didn't they?
correct. Yep. And then his half brother Victor Creed,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sabretooth.
Yes.
So they've been around. I don't know when Victor Creed was born, which I can find actually really quickly.
He's got to be like a few. He's only a few years
few
older
years
than Logan,
older, yeah.
right? So I'm assuming near that time that he was born.
So he was born in the 1820s.
Okay.
And then Logan Wolverine was born in 18. Damn. So he's 15 years older than his brother.
Okay.
So he's relatively older.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
They don't fucking die, so.
Right.
That's not important. Let's see what else. Another big one.
So guys, we're doing our rankings today, but we would love to hear from you guys. We're loving the feedback that you guys are giving. We just want more of it. Let us know your favorite X-Men movie, or your favorite X-Men character, or whatever it is. But sound off in the comments, guys. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah. Okay, so Eric was born in 1930.
Okay.
Which is, I didn't realize he was that old.
Mm-hmm.
Does the mutation? Have they ever said anything about mutation not letting them age like a normal a human?
I think it depends on the powers, no?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Because some of them age regularly, and then other. I think it just depends on the mutation itself.
Yeah.
Like what powers it gives you. Because like look at Logan, he heals himself. So the reason he's able to live so long is because his cells just keep regenerating.
Yeah.
But other people just live a normal lifespan.
What about Deadpool? I know he keeps regenerating, but he hasn't been. He's been around for now some time, but like he hasn't been around long enough. There isn't a story long enough that shows him living as long as Logan, but they essentially have the same powers.
Yeah, but so Deadpool got his powers like forcibly. Logan, the mutation just manifested naturally, didn't it?
Well, they all have to go through a state of trauma to
Correct.
activate it.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Logan, that happened naturally. That was just his life that he experienced trauma.
Was murdered.
Correct. So that was the real life trauma
yeah.
that sparked the mutation.
Yeah.
Deadpool did it as a last resort because he was dying of cancer.
Cancer, right.
So his was more forced than Logan. I think that's the difference. Or that's why, you see, I mean, they have similar powers, yeah, but I think that's what the difference. My opinion, anyway.
Okay, I see that.
That's the only way I can explain it. To where it makes sense to me.
Okay. I guess a couple more dates, and then we'll get right into our rankings. Charles Xavier was born in 1932.
Okay.
Hank McCoy was born 1940. The term genetic engineering was first used by a Danish microbiologist, Alfred Jost. He was talking about Charles Xavier's mutant abilities when they manifested. Mm-hmm. So that was 1941. So that means Charles was only 9 when his power started.
Nice. Well, yeah, they showed that a little bit when Mystique was raiding his fridge.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
Mm-hmm. He was around that age, like 9 or 10, or it looked like anyway.
Yeah. I think that's kind of it. I mean, throughout time, Logan was through most big events, most major wars, World War II, World War One.
Well, Logan fought in them.
Yeah.
Logan and Sabretooth.
And the Civil War between England and the United States with the 13 colonies.
Oh, okay. You've remind me. You've touched on. I think it was when Victor was here, right? Of who Charles and Magneto were modeled after.
Yeah. MLK and.
Well, let the people know just in case they missed that episode.
So something
That's
big
cool
that Stan Lee, when him and Kirby, right? Jack Kirby wrote X-Men,
mm-hmm.
I think. The reason why they wrote X-Men was to show diversity in culture and in powers and in color of your skin. Like, as much as that's not important, he wanted to write a comic that showed how showcased what they kind of dealt with. So the mutants dealt with a lot of adversity and discrimination because they're mutants.
For sure.
What I mean? And instead of having one specific race, they just had a community of different races all have this mutated gene with and then they encompass every community. So the African American community with Storm, mm-hmm. And then James Howlett technically being Canadian-ish, and then Who else? Jubilee being Asian American.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody that has an accent on there, like a British Scottish accent. Well, technically Charles Xavier, his family's from Great Britain, but
Okay.
that makes sense. And then Charles Xavier, what is his nationality? Because he was in World War II. He was in the concentration camps.
He's Jewish.
I would assume.
Magneto's Jewish. Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. So just lots of different, culturally different, diverse mutants that have all experienced intense trauma throughout the world.
And discrimination,
And discrimination.
Well, that's what I liked about the original trilogy is that they really dove into that and they really showcased that, like especially with what Magneto went through. They had that whole beginning of the movie was about that, and then they even touched on it in Last Stand when the girl asked, "Where's your markings?" He goes, "This is the only," and he showed his numbers.
Concentration camp numbers.
Yeah. So I really
tough.
like that they really dove into that. But you didn't get to who they were modeled after.
Yeah, so Stan Lee wrote the X-Men comics to showcase all the adversity and then have two main leaders, a more radical one and a more peaceful, calm, but effective one, with MLK and Malcolm X, and then Magneto, more the radical one, similar to Malcolm X, and then Charles Xavier being very similar to Martin Luther King.
Yeah. Which when you told me that fact, dude, it really just made everything make sense.
Yeah.
Because when you told me that, first off, it blew my mind. But then I'm like, dude, that makes so much sense. Like, it just made me understand those characters even more.
Right?
Yeah. So I really like that they did that. So yeah, all right. So I'm ready to get into the rankings. How about you?
Yeah.
Or any more little quick facts?
Any cool nuggets? I don't know if it's true, but they do talk about in here that JFK was a mutant. They never talked about what his actual powers were.
That's right. I think they covered that in
Eric,
the movie.
Yeah, so Eric, what was it, Futures Past?
I think so. I think it was Days of Future Past.
Or First Class.
It was. Oh yeah, actually. Yeah, I think it might have been First Class. Because I don't remember. It was just a line about it, wasn't it?
No, because First Class was the very first one. So then, what's the second one?
It was either said in Days of Future Past or First Class, because that's when it was back then, and I remember Days of Future Past is when Mystique was trying to correct something, she was trying to stop those Sentinels from being made.
Yeah.
But I think it was that one.
It is Futures Past.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah, because Logan's there. No, you're right. You're right. And he said "F you" in First Class.
Yeah. That was the best scene. I freaking love that. All right, so let's do it. So there are 13 films that have to deal with X-Men. 11 of them are actual X-Men movies.
Yep.
And then we added the 2 Deadpool movies because they featured X-Men heavily.
Yeah.
So let's start off with number 13. What do you got?
New Mutants by default because I haven't seen it.
I did see it. I think you would rank it 13 just because of the movie. Again, it was a good movie. I mean, it was a decent movie. Nothing really special about it. I kind of felt like it was out of place a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, visually it was cool. You got to see Colossus' sister. That's a tongue twister right there.
Yeah, Colossus' sister.
Yeah, we got to see his sister. So you got to see, some cool stuff, the action, and it was pretty cool.
Magic, if you guys don't know. She is a very strong sorceress.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I said, the action was pretty cool, but when you compare it to the other X-Men movies, it falls short.
I heard her performance as Magic was really good. She did a really good job.
She did, yeah. The actress who played Magic did a great job at it.
Who is the girl that played in Queen's Gambit, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, for that reason, I mean, only when comparing it to other X-Men movies is the reason I rank it so low. But if you're talking about a movie itself,
Right?
it's pretty good. My glasses, but
Anya Taylor?
probably.
Pretty sure it was her.
Yeah.
She
just had blonde hair.
Yeah, she was in the movie Menu.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Have you seen that movie?
I have not. I haven't gotten to it yet.
I'd love to do an episode about that. Let us know in the comments if you guys want to. That movie was creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of like being in the food industry.
I was gonna say that's probably why you like it so much.
Tied me. I mean, I'm not at the restaurants I work at. I don't murder people, but besides that, we kill them in kindness because some of these are assholes.
Oh my god.
But anyways, but no, it's a really cool movie. I think she did a really good job. I think she's a great actress.
Yeah.
She's continuing to grow. Have you not seen Queen's Gambit?
I don't think that's
The
the
chess-
chess movie,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh,
I heard
so-
great things about it. I just
Okay.
never got around to it. And
So
I love
good.
playing chess, so
It's
I
a
would
really,
probably
really,
like it.
really good show. Yeah, she's the badass. She's
Alright.
just the
Yeah, she did a great job as Magic. I would like to see if they bring that character back. I would like for her to play.
I'd
Magic.
love for
Yeah.
her to come back. I can see it potentially her coming back in like
Definitely in the MCU.
another, definitely the MCU, but like with what's happening at the end of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness with Charlize Theron's, what's her character's name?
You
Chloe.
something, but Doctor Strange's future wife. Right?
Yeah.
So where she goes into the dark dimension.
Yeah, you know, because she's a sorceress, or even in like a Loki season 3, or even in Loki 2, we have no idea.
Yeah.
You know, just get introduced to a different mutant.
There's definitely a spot for her.
Yeah.
For that character anyway.
Agatha.
For sure.
Yeah, so there's definitely.
All right. So let's go with number 12. What do you got?
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
What?
The movie was entertaining. It was cool. The Deadpool at the end was what fucking killed it.
Okay, fair enough.
The stupid.
I mean,
like, come on, and the
so
laser eyes.
well, that is
Like,
the
come on.
reason Deadpool goes back and kills that guy. I mean, that
Yes.
version. There's
Yeah,
a reason
that's
for that.
why Deadpool
Yeah,
1 and 2 are so high on my list.
They definitely came up short on that Deadpool. They definitely ruined that.
And
character with that.
I was excited because they cast Ryan Reynolds. I'm like, oh, he's perfect for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, for that reason, I understand it.
And I didn't like Remy.
You know, like,
Gambit. Remy LeBeau.
oh, you didn't like the actor?
I didn't. I think I like the actor
Okay.
himself. I just, he just didn't do it for me. He wasn't.
You think Channing Tatum did a better job
No,
as Gambit?
absolutely not.
No, okay,
No.
fine.
Absolutely
Because
not.
he was slated to be Gambit, but
He dances on poles. He doesn't fight with poles. All right. He's
Could
Magic
you,
Mike.
could you imagine? Could you imagine Gambit slamming it down, just doing a dance move on it, and then just going in, bam, and then right after that, that'd be hilarious. Oh God, I would have loved to see
goodness.
that. Get on that. Get it on that. Skip.
Kevin, Channing Tatum. Let's get a Magic Mike X-Men movie. Let's do
That'd
it.
be hilarious. I think it'll be just a hilarious skit.
I mean, I would imagine like if he does get recasted, and they
In
do,
the MCU,
yeah, and then they choose to like, because they had a whole movie developed. and
they
it
were
just
gonna do it,
it
but
just never happened. with
I
that.
read an article on it. Channing Tatum said that the direction that it was gonna go in wouldn't have fit well with everything else going on.
Right, and then with the buyout from Fox and Disney, that they
Right.
just fucking
So
shelved it.
right, which I think is for the better.
Yeah.
Number 12 for me is actually the Wolverine.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just didn't like the whole samurai part of it. Like I felt
But
like
that's part of his.
I understand.
Yes.
I understand that, but when it just kind of felt like they did that just to put the cool samurai fighting scenes in, or like to make a movie about like samurai X-Men.
I guess.
It felt very like forced. To
It's
me.
really tied to his past.
I understand that, but to me, like if you compare the Wolverine to all the other Wolverine like movies that Wolverine's in, it feels out of place to me.
I guess because you're just used to him being an X-Men.
Right. And
But
that's what mostly the other movies are. Like they hardly ever dove into that side of him.
Okay.
That's why I feel like
Well,
it's out of
that's
place.
why I wanted to do that timeline in the beginning. He's born in 1830. What? 2? What did I say?
Something like that. I thought no, yeah, because you said 1820 was
1845.
Oh man.
He's been around. How many lifetimes have he lived already?
True. Like I said, I understand that that's part of his past, but in the other, I felt like it would have fit better if the other X-Men movies had dove into it a little bit more, like kind of teasing it a little bit. Then to me, it wouldn't have felt so out of place. That's all I'm saying. That's the only reason why it's so low on for me. It just felt out of place for me.
Okay, so I can back you up with what you're saying, because like there's certain movies in the MCU that just don't, or shows that don't do it for me, because I don't see the big grand scheme of how they're tied in. To the
Exactly.
movies. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men, I always treated them like the stepchild, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the pair of Jordans you got for Christmas that you didn't want, and you're like, oh, I like these.
But you're only keeping them
but they're
because
Jordans,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So like, it's a comic. You know what I mean? Like it's Marvel,
Mhm.
but it's not Marvel.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't pay much attention to it. I just took them for face value,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, oh well, all right, cool. Is the ugly duckling?
Yeah.
You know, it is what it was. Because I knew that none of it would ever tie into mainline MCU,
Mhm.
and even now, I'm positive Kevin's gonna cut that shit out.
Most
You
likely.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he'll keep part of like the X-Men Future Past. After we do the full ranking, I got this cool timeline.
All right. Well, we'll get into that afterwards. But all
Of
right.
the
So.
actual chronological timeline of how everything worked out.
Oh, nice. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Number 11. What do you got?
X2.
Really?
Yeah, the original two were
Dude,
cool.
we are not in sync at all.
Um,
Okay. So number 11 is X2. Why?
And I mentioned it the other day when we were talking about it. They're just too cheesy. I hated Scott.
Yeah.
I hated Scott so much.
X2 did.
Like,
have
I
some
know
really cheesy-
why he was threatened by fucking Wolverine.
Yeah.
Because he was a douchebag. Like, he just wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, Jean Grey should have left him for Logan. Like, he's just so lame, you know?
Yeah.
I love him as an actor. He was funny in 27 Dresses. Like,
Yeah.
I love him as an actor. He's funny.
Yeah.
But stick to rom-com, dude.
Exactly,
Stick
yeah.
to rom-com.
He tried action, didn't work. Go back to what you're good at. No, I will agree with you. The first trilogy, well, not the first trilogy, but the first two X-Men, like X-Men and X-Men X2, X-Men United, those two did have a lot of cheesy moments, and I feel like because they were trying to, I feel like those two movies are more geared to kids,
Yeah.
less adult. Like, yeah, adults would go see it because, you know, we're fans of X-Men, we like action movies, blah blah blah. But I feel like they made them very leaning towards kid friendly.
Yeah.
They made them more for the kid audience than the adults. Like MCU is more for the adults than the kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's why they had so many cheesy moments. But I totally understand why
Okay.
you put them that far down.
Yeah.
Number 11 for me is Dark Phoenix. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have it a little bit higher,
Okay.
but not much higher.
We don't have to delve in too much Dark Phoenix. The reason it's so low for me is just compared to the other ones. I just like the other ones better.
Okay.
Wasn't a bad
I think
movie.
they did a decent job of the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the Dabari, kind. The people that were chasing them. It's like black things. That's what they were.
Mm-hmm.
They can be better. I think. I don't know. I think the action was pretty good in it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I didn't mind it at all.
Yeah.
It was entertaining.
Like I said, that's why. The only reason it's so low for me is because when you compare it to the other movies, I just like the other movies better.
I ranked it 8.
Okay.
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like,
So,
I went to watch it because at that point I already knew they just didn't finalize the acquisition of Fox.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew when Dark Phoenix came out, like, oh well, none of this fucking matters because they're getting bought out right now.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, I'll
Yeah.
watch it to watch it. That's
Yeah.
it. So
Okay. So what do you got for
10.
Yeah.
X1, the very
X1?
first one.
Okay. I got Apocalypse for 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, just because how Apocalypse was.
Well, again, I liked the mutants that were in it. I liked the action, liked the story, but just compared to the other ones, I just like the other ones better.
Okay.
Now that we're getting into, like I was telling you before we started filming, this was actually a lot harder for me than I thought it was gonna be. Like if you look here, like you could see I have so many like erases on here, and it wasn't like the top of my list I pretty much knew, and the bottom I pretty much knew. It was the middle, dude. Once I started diving into it more, like when I was doing the rankings, I was watching the trailers just to refresh my memory. But I was watching, I'm like, man, the middle section was just really tough for me.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I guess there's so many of them that I like, at the same level, I guess. But yeah, so I got Apocalypse for number 10.
Okay.
And
This
only
one-
because I like the other movies a little bit better.
My top 2 were really easy. My
Same.
bottom 2 were really easy.
Same.
The middle ones, like I said, I did it at face value.
Mm-hmm.
Just like,
Yeah.
it was real easy for me to feel. I had one scratch off.
Okay.
I was just like, I'll put them there.
All right.
That's
So,
one.
all right, then let's just get through it. Then
9 is X3 for me. Last
X3.
Stand.
That's Dan. I got first X-Men. That's
Okay.
number 9. Like I said, it was really cheesy, but I don't know. I think I like it because we finally got to see mutants on on the
On
big
the screen,
screen,
yeah.
and I like
And
the way
at
they
that
did
point,
it.
we only had Blade. Iron Man wasn't out yet.
Right.
We had a horrible Daredevil movie by Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Elektra, somewhere around there too. The spin-off of
All
Elektra.
right. Yeah, we had very few
Uh,
comic movies out. Those are really
I
just.
think Dark Knight was killing it at that
Mhm.
point. Like
Yeah.
the trilogy, the
The
Nolan,
Christian Bale and Christian Nolan,
Yeah.
or Christopher Nolan, yeah.
Christopher Nolan.
All right. So yeah, so I got that one at 9. What do you got for 8?
Yeah. Dark Phoenix.
Okay. 8 is Days of Future Past for me.
That low.
Yeah.
That one's surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting.
And like I said, only because I like the other ones more. I don't think I can say a bad thing about Days of Future Past. Probably the only thing I could say about it is that it gets kind of confusing at certain points. You're like, wait, what? And
Well, that was the
the way
first
they
time.
do the timeline is weird.
So Days of Future Past was really high for me.
Mm-hmm. For what reason?
Because so when it released, at first like Days of Future Past looked interesting. I saw the previews and the trailers. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And then there were rumors and talks about the Fox and Disney acquisition. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's their segue. That's the way to fucking do it. Like,
Yeah.
blow up the timeline, get a reboot, and if these next couple movies fucking tank,
Mhm.
like Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, if they get acquired, Marvel will do it right.
Right.
And they could at least revisit the past somehow because of the time travel situation.
So do you think that's why it's so high up on your list because of
It
those
gave me
facts?
hope. It gave me hope.
So
And
that-
honestly, I liked seeing both. Like, as much as I didn't care for the first trilogy all so much, 'cause it was so damn cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing them work hand in hand with the.
I love that scene with young Professor X and
Yeah, the two
talking to
Charles
each other.
talking?
Oh my, that was a powerful scene, dude. I love that.
That
scene.
line he speaks to his younger self is what he says to Stephen Strange, in the council and the Illuminatis, when he's like,
That's right.
to find your way, like just because you. I forgot what the exact quote
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
but he says that to his younger self in Days of Future Past, and he
Mhm.
repeats it to Doctor Strange.
That's right. I totally forgot about that because it had been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. Okay, so where are we at? 8, right?
Yeah. So
What-
7.
What do you got for 7?
Apocalypse.
Okay.
I didn't care too much of his appearance. It was
Okay.
good. It wasn't as great as I thought it could have been.
Mhm.
I've seen better cosplays. Um,
Dude, there's some legit cosplays out there.
I just like that they tied that in.
Mhm.
And as soon as I saw that happening, I was like, time. Okay, so the movie right before that had to deal with time travel. Kang at some point, if that happens, Apocalypse will be there when Kang's there. I knew at some point that could happen.
So do you think they're gonna bring back Apocalypse in the MCU? Like in this whole Kang
I hope.
saga?
I hope. I think if they do like even in Loki, if like they're going after a variant of Kang,
Mhm.
and they end up in the past or whatever, or even in the new Deadpool movie, they can like, it's gonna deal with time travel.
yeah.
So they can be in the past and they can see a throne of, Pharaoh Ramatut,
Mhm.
and then some mutant kid walking by, who's all blue kid, like just a small little hint at that, like that's possible.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. I liked it. I liked this adaptation of Storm. I liked her with the mohawk and all that.
Yeah,
She did a really good job.
Yeah,
I like that they did Angel right, and then made him the Archangel when he became a horseman.
yeah.
That's the Angel I've known, and I played in the Sega Genesis game. Like,
Yeah.
He was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was always super strong, hard to beat.
Yeah, they definitely nerfed him in Last Stand
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah,
All right.
bad.
So that was 7, right?
Oh, and because of her psionic blade and her blast, Psylocke, the one with the
Olivia Munn.
Yes, Olivia Munn. Like her character. It sucks that we only saw her in that one, and I doubt they'll replace her,
Probably
because
not.
they're probably gonna put a younger version of her.
Mhm.
But I think she did a good job too.
Oh yeah, I loved her as Psylocke. Yeah, for sure. My 7 is X2.
Okay.
X-Men. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. Again, did have a lot of cheesy moments, but we got to see Nightcrawler. He's
that's true.
he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Um,
Who? Fun fact is the son of Mystique
Yes.
and Azazel.
Yes. So yeah, Nightcrawler's always been one of my favorites. So getting to see him was pretty awesome. And then I like that they joined up. You know, they joined forces for that little bit. You know, there's just a lot about X2 that I really like. Again, I dealt with the cheesy moments just for the sake of it, but just because I liked everything else. All right, so then number 6.
The Wolverine.
Okay.
The one you ranked really low. I like the Samurai. I honestly liked it.
Mhm.
That's where he kind of learned to fight.
Mhm.
You know, and kind of created some honor. He wasn't. It calmed the beast a little bit, or
Okay.
tamed the beast,
Yeah.
and helped him focus it.
It definitely zened him out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just nice to see him just not just a savage, just tearing people apart.
Yeah.
It showed some humanity to him.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that part coming about why he wasn't healing and wasn't aging, or why he was becoming mortal? Did you see that part coming?
What do you mean?
Okay, so remember he's like, I can make you mortal. Remember?
Oh yeah.
So did you see how he was doing it? Did you see that coming? Where it was the old girl that put that thing in him?
I didn't realize that was it.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you were trying to guess as to how how they were gonna explain him becoming mortal, you didn't see
I
that
had
coming?
no idea what was
No?
going on. No.
That was a nice little twist.
I do like how that one girl that touches people and she can see how they die. She says that you're gonna die holding your heart in your hand.
Yeah.
And that's how Logan ended. He was holding his heart, his daughter, in his hand.
That's nice foreshadowing. I like
And
that.
and then he died.
Holding his heart. Yeah. That's nice, dude. I didn't think about
Yeah.
that. Cause, well, in that movie, it was more literal where he pulled his heart out for her to get the thing, and that's how he, But yeah, I like that. There's a little double meaning there.
Yeah.
I like that.
They did that
Did
on
I use
purpose.
foreshadowing right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
I just want to make sure. I didn't want the comments to light up with you.
Who
Use
was your
foreshadowing,
sixth?
huh?
Who was your number 6?
My number 6, Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay, bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
I originally, when my original list had only the X-Men movies,
Yeah.
until you said that you added the Deadpools,
Why not?
which totally fine with me. But then I had to rearrange my list a little
Once
bit.
we finish this, I'll explain why based on the timeline.
Okay.
It'll make sense too.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so yeah, Deadpool 2 is number 6 for me. Let's go with 5.
Deadpool.
So top 5. All right. So this is where we can dive in a little bit more as to why it's our top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So with yours is
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
Mine is Last Stand.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I really love Last Stand. So I like the whole the war part of it, and so there's a lot of moments in the movie that just really resonated with me.
Okay.
Like not necessarily resonated, but it just like instilled in my memory like those parts.
Okay.
The best part to me, or one of the best parts to me, one of my favorites is when Pyro and Iceman are going at it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the line that Pyro says? He goes, "You never should have," or what did he say? "You should have stayed in school." Remember when he's like putting the flames on him? He's like, "You should have stayed at school." And then Iceman just covers himself in ice, grabs his hands, and then headbutts him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You never should have left."
Yeah.
Dude,
That was a cool part.
that is one of the sickest
Well,
freaking.
Bobby's an Omega level mutant.
Right, and that's where you first start to see it.
Yeah.
And oh my, dude, that part, hands down, one of my favorite X-Men parts, or like one of my favorite parts in X-Men movies. That to me.
In the comments, if you guys don't know what an Omega level mutant is, or like Class 1 mutant, let us know. That'd be a cool. We can do like top tier mutants, top tier superheroes. We can break down and explaining based off of like super soldier serum, so peak enhancements, and we'll talk. That could be a fun episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would love to. Yeah.
Because I throw around a lot of terms, and I think some people don't even know what the
They're
hell
like,
I'm
what the heck? They're probably Google
Yeah.
it afterwards. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like, what the hell is that? Pause.
Yeah, the common watcher. I mean, if you guys don't know, put it in the comments. If you aren't
let
a
us know.
common watcher and you guys are nerds just like us, then you guys know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
but-
we would love to inform you guys more on certain things, that we're talking about. We could even do it as a little reel or something.
Yeah,
Or we can
that'd
go
be
live
fun.
on Instagram. You guys shoot us your questions.
Yeah,
and
actually,
do
that sounds like a cool idea.
Yeah.
I like
So
that.
let us know, guys, if you guys want us to do that. Let us know, please. We would love to do it.
Sweet.
All right, so we're at 5, right?
5, I did Deadpool.
Okay.
2. What was
Okay.
your 5?
Mine was Last Stand.
Oh, yeah, we did talk about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 4.
Number 4 is Deadpool.
Okay. No, my number 4 is Deadpool.
Nice. All right, we
Yeah.
finally got it. Finally,
Match. Star
we
Wars.
finally matched on our line. Just took all the way up to number 4. Right. Fair enough. Deadpool. Why is it number 4 for you?
They did it right. It was the
Yes.
first movie they did right. With
Yes.
I didn't have any like. I had questions of how it fit in the timeline,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't matter because it wasn't Marvel. You know what I mean? So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is.
I will tell you the only thing I did not like, and it's 100% only my preference. It's in no way a negative thing about the movie. It's just my preference. I didn't like the time jumping.
Oh.
It was really
Tell me.
frustrating for me. Like,
Because
so,
it
like,
starts off on the highway scene, and
Yeah.
then it flips back,
and then
it's
it
like,
flips back to the origin, then it comes back to current science, then it goes back again. I'm just like, come on.
I got
don't
it.
want to keep seeing it. Like,
I got it because it's Deadpool telling the story.
correct.
And his fucking mind's
And-
everywhere.
And for that reason is why I was okay with it. But just like I said, for my preference, it was just so freaking frustrating.
Frustrating.
I was just like, come on, don't go backwards. I want to keep seeing that. And I think it's because they did it so freaking well.
Yeah.
The action was just awesome. I was like, just keep going, just give me more action, because you know how I am with action. So
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's a fun take. If you can do it right, like the way Deadpool 1 did, it's hard to go back and forth and still keep your audience entertained and
And
engaged.
engaged. Yeah.
So sometimes you can tell the story so well, but there's gonna be like down parts,
Yeah.
boring parts. You're just like,
Mm-hmm.
and like, oh, you're into it, and then something flips. You're like, oh, fuck, now what's going on?
Yeah.
So you're forced to pay attention to what the hell's
For
happening. And I think they did a really good job in that one.
I like to call those
That-
parts the bathroom break moments.
Yeah, the boring
The
parts.
downtime?
Yeah,
The
there was
downtime?
no downtime.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you couldn't. You held your
Yeah.
pee.
Exactly.
You hold your pee, or
Exactly.
you go in the bucket.
Yeah. In your big cup. Yeah. That's funny. All right.
And then you put
Okay.
it 2 seats over and leave it there, and hopefully no one
It
drinks
sounds
it.
like you've done this before. All right. All right. So then that was for what do you got for number 3?
For 3 is First Class.
Okay.
I loved First Class. I think
That's another one that they did so well.
it gave me hope. I was like, all right, I'll give Fox another try. I think
And-
Fox is gonna do it right.
Dude, I was surprised at how good Kevin Bacon did as a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he's always such a lovable.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's a lovable guy in himself, but like,
Kevin Bacon.
yeah, he always plays the good guy, or you know what I mean, like the
No.
the
He was
protagonist.
Hollow Man in that one movie.
True, but I mean, the majority of his
whatever.
the majority of his roles, he's the protagonist. He's the good guy, the guy you're rooting for, the guy you're
Yeah.
So to see him as a bad guy, and he killed it as a bad guy, dude.
I think he did a great job. Hell
He
yeah.
did, he did, and then
But it's crazy how I don't know if it that tracks in the comics too, but like how Eric got his helmet from him. I was like, I didn't know that. I don't know if that's actually tracks in the comics. I didn't check out. I'll look it up later. But
yeah,
yeah, I was like,
or maybe that was just a movie thing.
yeah,
I think it's more a movie thing. Because I think Magneto would have made that helmet, himself to protect himself from Charles.
yeah,
I don't think he would have been like, oh, that's cool. Let me get that. You know what I mean?
true.
That's a good idea. Let me take that.
Because I think in the comics, I vaguely remember him and Charles making a helmet because of it hurting him when he was in Cerebro, because they built Cerebro together. I
Correct.
think.
Yeah.
So I think
That's in the comics as well, right?
I think it was to shield him to not hurt himself while he was in the Cerebro room with Eric or with Charles,
Okay.
and then he just took it to protect himself from Charles altogether.
Okay.
I think that's how it was.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right. So your 3 was, you said
First Class.
Mine is Origins.
Origins.
Yeah, dude. Origins Wolverine. So, okay. Hold on. Let me explain. So the reason I love Origins is because, as we've established, I'm a sucker for backstory.
Okay.
So I really loved that they dove into Wolverine's backstory hard. We got to see him as a kid. We got to see the bone claws.
Yeah.
And also, my favorite mutant is Gambit. Always
okay.
has been. So I got to see Gambit on the big screen.
Yeah.
Loved it. Again, I didn't have the same issues you did with Gambit. I thought he did a solid job. I enjoyed it. Do I think there could have been a better portrayal of Gambit? Absolutely. But I think he did a good enough job. And then I like we got to see Wolverine's best friend, played by Will.i.am.
Oh yeah.
We got to see that because that was heavy in the cartoons. Uh, so yeah, man, I really enjoyed it. Like I think for me the reason it's so highly ranked is because Gambit is my favorite X-Men.
Okay.
So we got to see him in
I didn't
there.
know that. I didn't know that Gambit was there.
Yeah, he was. He's the one who helped Logan. Like he came in kind of to like rescue Logan towards the end.
Oh, I know who
Remember?
he is.
No. I'm saying in that movie.
Yeah, but I didn't know. Well, he met him when he was in. Oh no, we met him. Wait. He got introduced earlier. In the movie.
Gambit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was
at
gambling.
the poker table. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you talking about then?
What?
You said he got introduced at the end when he came to.
No, I didn't say get introduced. I said he came to like Wolverine's aid.
Oh
towards
yeah,
the
yeah,
end.
yeah, and he had a staff.
Yes, and him using the staff. Oh, it
And
was
he blew up the
kid in a candy
thing
store
for
at the
them.
moment. I loved it. Loved every second of it. But yeah, so that's why it's up there for me, and I think for that reason, just like you were saying, the hope that the other movies gave you.
Yeah.
I think that's what that did for me. That's what Origins did for me, is just getting to see Gambit live action.
Okay.
So yeah. All right. So
You know
number
who I think can play a really good Gambit,
who?
just based off of how his stature is and how he looks.
Mhm.
Dylan O'Brien, the kid from Maze Runner.
Okay.
I think he can pull off Gambit.
You think so?
I think if they cast a Gambit, it should be him.
Okay.
That's my fan casting.
All right. We'll see.
Because I want Gambit to be done right. I've always
Yes.
loved Gambit in Marvel vs. Capcom. I used to use him to fight.
Mhm.
He was a badass.
He is, dude. I feel like he's one of the most underrated mutants. He is a powerful freaking guy.
Yeah,
He's
and
a
hand-to-hand
badass.
combat, he's fantastic.
Dude, seriously. Like look at the X-Men cartoon. The 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
He's such a big part of that team.
Mm-hmm.
Like he bails them out a lot of times. Like
And I hope they do it the right way with like the cowl that he wears, like
Mhm.
around his ears, and
Yeah.
like around his head, and then he has the buzz cut.
yeah.
I hope they do that with him, and then the whole black coat, or the brown coat that he has.
Yeah, so I think that's probably, as far as like the MCU goes, that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most is seeing Kevin Feige's take on Gambit.
Okay.
I'm
That's
really
the-
looking forward to seeing how he does Gambit.
All right, hold off on that because those
Okay.
are some questions I have at the end.
Okay.
All right. So we got number 2 was First Class for me.
Okay.
Wait, no, I'm sorry, number 3.
Yeah. So what's your
First
number 2?
Days of Futures Past.
Okay.
Again, because it gave me hope and
Yes.
how it explained everything.
Makes sense.
So I think this is a good time to talk about that timeline.
So hold on, real quick. So my number 2 is Logan.
Logan.
Yes.
Okay.
This one right here. Boom.
Nice. We'll just finish. What's your number 1?
My number 1's First Class.
First Class.
Yes.
Okay. So First Class is my third one. Logan is my number 1.
Okay.
I cried.
Oh, same.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, that scene,
Hit me hard.
that last scene, I don't think anybody, like, I was just straight. Like it was such a powerful scene, dude.
Yeah.
So touching. I think. Well, no, at the time we weren't. Had you had your daughter yet?
Mhm.
You did.
Mhm.
So that's probably why you were bawling even more. My daughter wasn't born yet, so I wasn't a girl dad yet. But that scene-
was born already.
That scene itself, I mean, I was crying just because it was powerful, dude.
Yeah.
That's such a phenomenal scene. It was so great, and the actress that played his daughter,
Yeah.
chef's kiss. Like she did a perfect job of it.
For a kiddo. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
dude.
of the kiddos did. I think all
Yeah,
of the
man.
kiddos did a really good job.
Yeah. So okay.
So we
our-
finished it, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why I like, and number 2 is my Days of Futures Past,
Mhm.
and then Logan is number 1,
Okay.
and First Class. First Class doesn't really fall in place. But anyways, so X-Men First Class is the very first movie chronologically in timeline that was released.
Wait,
like
say it.
in timeline, in like actual Earth years.
Okay.
So
Which one was?
1962 is First Class.
Okay.
That's the first X-Men movie. Technically.
Okay, I got you. I'm following you. All right.
After that, then it's technically X-Men Days of Future Past
Okay.
because
Right, because Nixon and everything. Yeah.
Who?
Nixon, President Nixon.
yeah. So that's in 1973 and in 2023.
Right.
So Future
This
Past. Yeah, Future Past happened in 2023, and I don't know if they did that on purpose because the blip ended in 2023.
Mm.
Coincidence? I think not.
Interesting.
I think they always knew that they were going to get acquired. and I think they left segments or ways for them to be like, all right, because if Fox, as much as Disney owns Fox, Fox is still its own entity.
Correct.
So they want to make their own money.
Right.
So if they can bring back certain things from the X-Men universe, they're gonna make more money outside of making Disney more money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's all it is.
It's a win-win. Yeah. Yeah.
So if we go down the original, it's 1962 is First Class. Then 79 is Origins. Then after 79, in 2004, it's X-Men 1. Then again, still in the same year, X2.
Mhm.
And then 2 years later is X-Men Last Stand.
Mm-hmm.
Then jump forward a couple years, and then in 2013 is the Wolverine.
Okay.
And then it
The
goes
samurai one, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it goes to 2023, and then
Okay.
X-Men Futures Past happens, and it goes 2023 and 1973, and
Right.
it creates an alternate timeline,
Right.
which is how we see in 1983, Apocalypse is brought back
Okay.
by his followers, and then he creates his Horsemen.
Okay.
After that, then in 1992, which is like 9 years later
Okay.
from Apocalypse, happens Dark Phoenix. New Mutants happens somewhere in between Dark Phoenix and the first Deadpool movie.
Okay.
So the reason why I think on the highway scene where he's talking about which Charles are you talking about?
These timelines are so confusing. Yeah.
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 He's conscious of the timelines, but it's because this timeline that Deadpool's in is the new timeline created after Days of Future Past.
Okay.
So, and all of them continue to happen. So then it's New Mutants, then
I
Deadpool
just chalked it up to him being able to break the fourth wall. Like that's what that was. I didn't correlate it to the
a new timeline.
Yeah.
That's what it's on Marvel Wiki.
Okay.
So it's what they have as a timeline.
Okay.
So it reverts to a new timeline after, like I said, Future Past,
All right.
and then Deadpool 2, then Logan.
Make sure to send me this image. That way I can try to put it up on the screen so everybody
Yeah.
else can follow along.
Yeah, I
with
got
us. All right.
But I think that's pretty cool. I
Okay.
thought that was awesome. Honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see it look like that, like, huh.
That's an interesting take on it. Yeah, I like that. It really kind of it helps us understand that a lot more.
Yeah.
When it's put like that. So that's cool. All right.
That's why I have Logan so high, and I have Deadpool, First Class, and then Days of Future Past,
Mhm.
just because of what it can. All of that can be still relevant. The
For
Dark
sure.
Phoenix can still be relevant.
For sure.
I didn't mind Sophie Turner as Jean Grey. She was okay.
I thought she did a good
You
job.
know, I think now that she's older and mature, she can do probably a better job. She's had a couple other acting roles under her belt.
Yeah, she was pretty fresh on.
Yeah, she's pretty green as an actor.
Yeah, when she was doing that. But I bought it. I bought her as Jean Grey.
And I take
As a
this
young Jean Grey.
Cyclops over the other one.
What's I mean, I think we all would.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Nice.
Cool. So that's a nice little nugget, the little timeline situation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, what year did Logan actually take place? I didn't ask.
I think it's right here.
No, I mean like chronologically.
Oh, I thought you meant like what year it came out. That's what I was looking up.
Let's see.
All right. Well, guys, again,
Oh,
let us.
2029.
That's what the year takes place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Logan.
Nice.
So we're not there yet.
Well, I was just gonna say, we would love to hear from you guys. What's your guys' favorite X-Men movie or character? Let us know. Let us know your top 5. That'd be cool. I would love to know your guys' top 5. See if it matches up with us. You got any other nuggets you want to share? Or?
Not nuggets, but questions.
Okay.
All right. So you said your favorite X-Men is Gambit,
Yes.
just because he's a badass and he's a ladies' man. Which, by the way, I think you and your wife can pull off
Gambit or
Rogue.
Rogue.
Hell yeah.
I would.
Yeah, I think you guys would totally pull it off as a cosplay when
Say
you're.
less.
That sounds like a dope, because you're tall, you have the right stature.
I just
she's
had to
slender, yeah.
shed some of this fat.
We all do, buddy.
Yeah, no.
It's okay.
Dude, honestly, that is a straight up couples goal. Like, I will, if she does that for me, I will do whatever cosplay she wants to go as.
I've been trying to get Sandy to do. I wouldn't mind going full Vision so she can do Wanda.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of her thing.
Nice. Yeah, I know. So that'd be cool. But yeah, dude, I would love to cosplay as Gambit. Are you kidding
That'd be
me?
cool, right?
Are you kidding me? No. Well, I think Gambit is my favorite X-Men just because of what he can do. He can literally put kinetic energy into anything he touches.
Make anything into an ink bomb. Yeah.
Seriously. So like that alone is badass. like him wielding the staff. He's a badass at wielding that staff, so I like
Out of
that.
curiosity, what is this staff made out of? Because what shouldn't the thing blow
I
up?
have no clue. I just
Because everything else he touches blows up.
right. I just don't think he puts it in. Well, he can. He did it in Origins.
Yeah,
He put kinetic energy, then
he does. Yeah, he does
slammed
that
yeah.
slam often. Yeah, and it was in the game. He did a lot too.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah. So, all right, that's my favorite X-Men. Who's yours?
Um.
I'm sure it's a tough question for you.
I
But
really like Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
Just being able to teleport and just. That's like. Well, that was my next question. What would be one power you would want? Because like
That
you
is
just want something
tough.
that'll benefit you long term, you know?
Oh, I know. So this has always been like, okay, so that's a really well-known like question, like, oh, if you got one superpower, what would it be? Whenever I ask that, mine is the ability to manipulate wind,
Win.
because
So
there's
airbender?
so basically. But
That's cool.
no, what's the he was in First Class, the one that was with Kevin Bacon. What's that guy? He did it.
Manipulate wind.
Yeah.
The kid?
No. He was on Kevin Bacon's team. He was one of the bad guys.
Damn, did he?
Yeah, he manipulated wind. He made like tornadoes, hurricanes.
Oh yeah. But he manipulated the weather around him. So like yeah, so it's like I think his name was I don't know what his name was, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay.
If I could have one superpower, it would be that, because you could do so much with that. I could fly. I could literally create a tornado around you. I can bring things toward me. Basically, like you said, airbending. That to me, that would be my power. What would yours be?
So maybe my mind went a little dark, but like you said that, and I was like, well, I guess you can take the oxygen out of somebody.
Correct.
Not that I wanted to do that. I just like
Yeah.
that's right.
As a last resort, if I'm
Interesting.
you know what I mean, if I'm going up against a bad guy and I'm about to die, just suck the air out of them. But what? There you go.
Sorry,
You
I
had
had
a
a
Red
full
Bull.
Red Bull.
You had a Red Bull. You're still yawning.
I'm tired.
I thought you were a busy man. I know.
But no, but teleportation.
Yeah.
Still, I'd like it, and maybe not leave the puff of smoke behind me when what's his name, Nightcrawler does.
Yeah.
But technically he doesn't teleport. He goes into. Well, there's speculation. So like when he could technically be going into like the null realm or like the dark dimension and then coming back from it. So he's actually
In a different location. Right.
yeah. So he goes to another realm and then comes back
In a
somewhere
diff-
else in our
right.
realm.
Right.
So he's not really teleporting. He's actually cutting through a realm and then coming
Mhm.
back in another
Mhm.
part and back into our realm. But I wouldn't want to fucking deal with that. I'd rather just be able to teleport.
Yeah. So just teleportation.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my thing with that. And if you guys watch the show, or if you've seen it, the show The Boys, it's very realistic, like when it comes to like abilities and stuff like that. So one of the guys had that, but whenever he teleports, so every other version of it, their clothes go with them. Like they teleport whatever they're touching. What I liked about The Boys is they made it very realistic, and in the fact that when you teleport, it's only you teleporting. So when he teleports somewhere else, he teleports butt naked, and his clothes just drop. So he has to have a go bag wherever he's gonna teleport. He has to be able to cover himself, because he teleports, he's full naked. Like I freaking love that, because I'm always like, how the hell are their clothes just perfectly
I mean, well, okay, so it makes sense for Nightcrawler because he's not teleporting.
correct?
He's cutting through.
That, and that's why that I could understand.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know. I loved the series The Boys. If you guys haven't watched it, it's on Prime, Amazon Prime Video. It's a great show, very gory.
Yes.
So if you don't like that, by all means don't watch it. But it's a great show. It's funny. It's got good action, great acting. But yeah, I like that they take the ability side there. They take the superhero aspect and they make it very realistic.
Okay.
I love that. But yeah, okay.
I think the movie Jumper did it for me too.
Jumper is
Hayden
awesome.
Christensen.
Jumper is a great movie.
Like
But they leave those like riffs in it,
yeah.
that you can literally just follow him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the way I really like the movie Jumper. That was a good movie. All right, so that's would be your ability
Mm-hmm.
to teleport or do what Nightcrawler does.
To teleport, just like straight
Okay.
up, just boom, boom,
Okay.
come right back and forth.
All right. Very good. That's my dog.
So what's next? What's the next?
Well, real quick, I was just gonna tell you. Do you know who the comedian Pete Holmes is?
Possibly.
So Pete Holmes, he had a show on TBS. It was right after Conan. Conan was the executive producer on it, but
You said Pete Holmes?
Pete Holmes, he did. It was kind of like this skit / talk show. So like he would interview guests. Yeah, he did an X-Men series where he plays Professor X firing X-Men.
Uh-huh.
It is some of the funniest stuff you'll ever see.
Oh, I've seen the skits before, yeah.
Yeah, you've seen him?
Yeah.
He did a Nightcrawler one. And it, dude, it was...
Well, there's one where he's firing Gambit.
Yeah, he fires Storm, but he tries to ask her that he's going to go play golf, so he wants her to make the weather nice for him. Like, yeah. If you guys haven't seen that YouTube Pete Holmes X-Men, you'll die laughing, I promise. And then he also does Street Fighter Red Tape. Those are freaking hilarious.
Street Fighter Red Tape. What does that mean?
So like, okay, Street Fighter's a tournament. So the fighters come into like an office, and it's Pete Holmes at a desk, and he's like basically he has to make sure like the things that they say would be okay for TV, and like it's a really funny skit. Like I think one of them was about Chun-Li's outfit, like it's very revealing.
Yeah.
And then the other one was with Ryu, like with what he says when he's doing his moves.
Oh, yeah.
So they go into a whole thing about that. It's freaking hilarious. And then when Ryu's leaving Pete Holmes, one of the things that made me laugh the most was he goes, "Your name sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger being poked." Ryu. When he did that, dude, when I first saw it, I was dying laughing. So yeah, it's just stuff like that. You need to watch it, dude. All the other characters he does, it's just so freaking funny. Pete Holmes is hilarious. He's one of my favorites. I was a huge fan of his show.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's freaking hilarious. You gotta check him out. But yeah, so okay, so I think that about wraps it up for us, huh?
Yeah.
It was some good stuff. I liked it. We cannot wait for the MCU to start bringing in mutants.
Well, they did. X-Men.
Well, I meant like as far as X-Men, like
Yeah,
once,
bring in the
dude,
classic X-Men.
I think once X-Men comes into the MCU, it's just gonna explode from there.
I think we'll see Fantastic Four before. Well, actually, we know we'll see Fantastic Four before
Yeah.
because it's happening. It's happening, man.
For sure.
It's gonna keep blowing up the
Yeah.
whole timeline.
I'm just really excited, and like I said, I super looking forward to seeing how Kevin Feige does Gambit.
Yeah, me too.
I think if anybody's gonna do Gambit right, it's gonna be him.
Well, yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So really looking forward to that. All right. I think that about wraps it up for us, guys. So again, please let us know your guys' favorite mutant, the ability you would want, or your top 3, top 5, or top X-Men movie. We would love to hear from you guys. We love your guys' comments on our episodes. It really means a lot to us. So I think it's gonna wrap it up for us.
Yep.
So we want to thank you guys for joining us again. And as always, Kike, I'm with you.
Till the end of life.
Thanks, guys.